Thank you guys for tuning in to watch yet another episode in the Grad School Playbook video series. I hope all of you are safe in such interesting times. Some of you who have applied for a higher degree to come to the United States might be wondering whether to accept the admit, defer it to the spring, or just come next year when things might be a bit more certain. Well, we are here to address that and several other things connected to this extraordinary circumstance. Today, in addition to our core panel, Gamini, Vedant, and Karan, we are grateful to have a guest with us who has recently received an admit from Indiana University at Bloomington and needs some precise answers to some of his questions. Without waiting any further, let's hear from our guest. Bhanu, once again, thanks for joining us in today's podcast.
Thanks, Akash. Thanks everyone for this opportunity. My name is Bhanu Pratap. I'm from Bangalore, India. Based on my experiences, from my previous experiences, I am into the field of graphic design and also catering to user experiences. So, I have been striving to find ways to simplify and create meaningful difference for a user. So, to further this knowledge, I wanted to pursue my master's in HCI course, so which eventually got selected into Indiana University. But the recent COVID situations have turned up those things are upside down. So, firstly, I would like to know how this present situation has impacted you guys who are currently studying in US, and what have been the main challenges that you have been facing lately, and has this affected your curriculum in any ways?
I can take this one.
Sure.
Um, so I personally, I'm working at Qualcomm, but I have a younger brother who goes to Georgia Tech. And I've seen his curriculum affected a lot in the current scenario. First of all, he was asked to move out of his on-campus accommodation, and a lot of domestic flights and international flights were barred. So it was very hard for him to relocate. And he's mostly here on his own, except for my support. So all the logistics was really hard for us to figure. He also found it hard to collaborate with his peers in the classroom because most of them are now working from different time zones. So I feel like your engagement with your classroom students might suffer a little bit. So yeah, these are a couple of things that I noticed. Karan, do you want to chime in?
I think Akash actually would be a better person to contribute here, since he works closely with his peers, and more or less he's still researching and working uh, where you need to be in contact with people. Akash, how has your experience been?
Yes, so initially it was hard because when I was in my office, we used to have this personal interaction almost every day. And if I had any problem, I could go to the staff room or my friend's cubicle and get it sorted then and there itself. But since things have moved online, I need to message my advisor or my peers for a meeting to chat about it. So there is a slight delay in getting the answers. So
Yeah,
although,
that's
yeah.
true.
Mhm.
We all are facing some kind of change right now. Nobody expected this. We are exploring new ways to study, interact with each other, and yes, Panu, it would be a huge change. It has been a huge change for all four of us till now, and yeah, nobody expected this.
Yeah, that's been the main problem for us, people pursuing HCI in particular, because we are more into the interaction between the students, and it's some of the cohort experiences, and this has been one thing what has kept us in a is it a we are in a dubious nature where should we go for it or not. So that's one thing. And coming to the second questions, my college, they're trying to have some kind of blended instruction, so having partly online and offline. They're not going to have a fall break, and winter session will be online, they say. So to account for the people who are coming back from Thanksgiving or so, they are having the winter session online. and many
Oh,
of us
okay.
feel like we are the first ones who are going to be subjected to these kind of changes, and we are not sure how it's going to work out, and we feel that we are some kind of part of some kind of experiment as such, more than
Yeah.
being addressed to the what the curriculum and how we are going to study. It's like we are somewhat like a scapegoats on this kind of change. So how do you guys
Uh,
partake in this?
Uh, have to kind of agree with you that yeah, this is a change, but I do not agree that this is a new experiment that colleges are undertaking, because Vedant can basically attest to this, that the universities here, they are pretty adept at online tutoring and basically online classes. But the first semester when you are coming in, I think it's very important that you have uh, in-person sessions, because that's how it's a huge cultural change, and I would say it's necessary to get used to what kind of teaching methodologies professors use here. Vedant, what would you suggest? Like, is it a huge change? Is it a huge experiment that these universities are taking on?
So I think there are 2 points over here. I think so. Bhanu, I finished my program in May, and my last term was online. And the transition from offline to online happened in literally 4 days. We had everything set up for us. We had all the resources, everything online. So I think the universities over here are quite adept at transitioning to unfavorable circumstances. But I don't think that should be a concern. But yes, the delivery of instruction will be a problem because an in-classroom experience is much more effective than a online experience. So I did have a lot of problem in my final term when it came to coordinating with my teammates, with my mentor, my teachers, and in general, So it was a new change, but I think that's the new normal now.
So how have been the the final year projects been up to, if the labs, or if you have to physically be in the labs, how
Right.
did you guys manage such?
So I did not have a lab, so I think Akash might be a better person to take this question up.
Right. So even for me, I need not be in the lab physically. So since I'm in the field of computation, I could work things from home and remote login to my office machine. So yes, like there were some issues initially, but the department was quite cooperative, and they were quick in making sure that everybody has an account on a computing cluster, and they don't face any problems in remotely logging into the machine. So yeah, I think
I think we might not be the right people to answer here, because we all work for one or computers or something. Kamini, you work for design verification, right? What is happening in your lab? Like,
So
are
I
we
do have a couple of friends who
okay?
are pursuing their PhD in Georgia Tech and in physical design. So they do require to go to fabrication labs and physically work on silicon wafers. So for them, it was really difficult um, because they were not able to go to the labs, even with masks. They were not permitted. So their work literally came to a standstill. So, I mean, now things are getting better, and they're regulating and moderating the number of people who can attend the lab sessions. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that is one of the
Yeah.
observations I made.
So that means their whole semesters got delayed also.
It didn't necessarily get delayed, but they did not have the experience that would have really helped them. A lot of things moved on to just demo sessions than hands-on
Yeah.
experience,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
virtual demo
When Vedant,
sessions.
yeah, when Vedant said that universities are adapted basically you know to these hard situations, that's why these things come in. Like uh, colleges here, your mentors here would really help you figure out the situation. Like, okay, what happens now? You would not be stranded, but definitely it would be a hard time, and I can't imagine being in the last semester and not being able to present your.
Yeah, that's one thing what I totally agree. Whatever we ask, the colleges have been, the universities have been very foregoing with us, and they are ready to, adapt to any changes, and they are ready to answer any kind of concerns that we have. That's one thing what I liked about the universities. And also, many universities have announced, they accept late arrivals also during the situation, and also given us the option to defer. So going late this fall might, hinder our CPT is what we feel, and we will not be able to complete the 9 months, and we don't know if internships can be taken up for the coming summer. That is one thing, and government has also not given up any official statements regarding this, and will not because of this, and we'll also, if at all we defer to the next spring, we will not be able to complete the the CPT for the upcoming spring. So we are in. We don't know if we have to defer. Also, we have to go for this fall. This fall, we don't know how it's going to be. So this kind of dilemma that we are in. So is it fine to take up internships in the second year? Is my question.
Vedan, do you want to take this?
Yeah, Bhanu, uh, to be honest, it's really hard to, say with 100% confidence what's going to happen in the next 6 months, because as you know, the number of cases are going up as we have this podcast. Um, so I mean, what we should be looking at is how a defer in your enrollment is going to, impact your long-term career, which I don't think it should be a lot. Um, I know a lot of people who have got admits this year who are deferring to next year, and there are some people who are going ahead because they want to, finish it off. So it actually comes down to, what exactly do you have in mind in the next 5 years? Are you okay deferring for an year, or do you want to get over with in whatever way, shape, or form?
But Vedan, I think the one question that we need to ask Bhanu here is like, Bhanu, have you got your visas already?
Yeah, that's another trickier part, and they
Yeah,
have said
because
they
you
said they
might
are
decide.
accepting emergency visas, and
Yeah,
we are still applying. So a few of my friends who have already applied, it got rejected. So we are still applying. We don't know what's the situation currently.
because last I heard, consulates are still not open, and as you said, they are open for like emergency visas and emergency cases. Uh, I think I speak for all here when I say that if uh, basically right now things are improving, but I would still we are still not venturing out. And if the visa consulates are not open, and even though you make up your mind that you want to come in this fall, you cannot really come unless you have visa, right? And you need consulates to be open for it. And yeah, I think there might be no option here where like coming if you have visas and if you want to come down in fall, you should be sure of it. There are going to be challenges ahead, and yeah, but if you don't have a visa, I don't think councils are going to open up anytime soon. So wise choice right now would be like, if you have a scholarship, if you are talking in touch with your university, maybe defer to fall, and no, defer to spring, sorry, spring 2021. Yeah.
That comes to my next question, where the visa appointments are currently not there. So the universities have told that if at all the visas do open in October or November, you can
Yeah.
take up online courses until then. So there is the question arises: what if we take up online and the visas, we attend the interviews somewhere, it does not open up, or even if it opens up, people are rejected. So that's another question in this. So coming to this fall is more an ambiguity for us.
Kamini, what do you think about like should be done here?
So
Uh,
just wondering, I understood this right. You're saying that your college says that in fall you attend online, and then after that, when your visa processes, you can come on campus in spring. But I guess you're scared that your visa might not process and you might get stuck forever doing online. Is that what your
Exactly.
question is? Okay,
Right, right.
so I guess it really depends on your degree and what stage of your career you're at, and what your ultimate goal is. If your goal is just to land a job, irrespective of the country and the cultural experience or global exposure, then you might as well just do it online. And you're doing it for the degree really, and not really the wholesome experience as such. um, but if your aim is to really relocate, or get global exposure, or engage into cultural diversity, then I would suggest you wait it out and defer your admit.
That's true. And also, this begs the question, like, what kind of tuition fee arrangement universities have? Because, that's a huge factor. Like, you would pay for 3 courses, a huge amount of money. And as Bhanu, you said that the visa does not process, then, basically most of the universities I know, they don't have any, refund options. Like once you have enrolled into it. Uh, what happens when you don't get visa? That money, I know career is important and you would be learning something, but still, like, if you not get to finish your degrees, that's a risky move.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So the universities have agreed to defer until August 1st. So and then defer to spring, and if not spring, also defer to fall. So I guess we are currently in a situation where we're going to wait it out and see until the end moment. I don't know what's going to happen, so I just hope is one thing. And also another question is that how will the OPT be affected in this? And are there any part-time jobs that you guys are usually attending that you are not able to attend? Are the part-time jobs being affected during this situation?
Um, can I take this?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yes, there are part-time jobs available, but yes, the market has been hit pretty bad, as you know. I can give you a real-life example, which is my example. So my OPT starts next week, and I do not have a job at this point in time. However, I have applied to a few non-profits uh, where I will be working for free in the domain of my master's. Working for a non-profit would, stop the 90-day counter for me. But yeah, I won't be paid and all, but it's a temporary relief rather than having a counter ticking with respect to my OPT. So yeah, but yes, I do have some interviews in the pipeline, but it's not the best time to look for a job. But then I mean, with the economy opening up, I'm sure 2021 will be a good year. I mean, there will be a lot of jobs back in the market.
And I think, yes, part-time jobs will be affected because as an F1 student, when you come here, you get 20 hours on campus. You are allowed to work for 20 hours on campus. And these on-campus jobs, because they are on campus and nobody's going in, uh, I don't think, universities are hiring for any on-campus jobs. So even though you come in and, if all the classes are online, then, your chance of getting a part-time job is pretty low, and that is being affected. Coming back to OPT, uh, you can get OPT like 2 years, like basically 3 years, 12 months on OPT, and then 2 years for STEM if you're in a STEM course. That would not be affected. Like it's 36 months from when you graduate. So for now, if administration does not change any rules. So yeah, I hope that answers your
Okay,
question.
right. So if at all, as you said, 2021 would be good time. So if at all we do defer to spring, and what I look at it this way, like if we defer to spring, the only challenge would be the internship. How would you see the internship opportunities for the spring? Because usually my course happens in fall, so now it has shifted to spring. Are there any I don't think we'll be able to take part in the summer internship. How will that be affected for the spring?
So as an F1 student, you're allowed to work 12 months. I think you said 9 months earlier, but you're allowed to work 12 months under CPD. That's counting your summer internship. So, and mostly the way courses are structured here, you probably have to take, 3 courses a semester. That basically is 3 classes uh, a week. And for other, you would, if you have a good resume, you can still apply for, on-campus jobs. And I think you can then apply for 12-month CPD, and then you can utilize that CPD throughout your master's program. It does not have to be limited to summer internships. Yes, summer is a really great time to get internships, and the good thing is my company, at least we had like 600 virtual interns this year. So I think there is a change coming. Companies would start going into that direction. Uh, yeah, it would be hard. Definitely, I'm not saying it would be easy. As Vedant can attest to that. Like not just internships, jobs have been hard. Kamini, how is hiring process at your company? Are interns coming in? What's happening?
So our company has also adopted a new policy of co-op. So co-op is like an internship, but during a semester and not just summer. And yes, we have also moved to virtual internships than in person. So another thing you can do is while you're doing your semester, you can enroll into part-time virtual internships. That is something that companies are currently offering, and I'm guessing it'll grow with time.
Yeah,
So it's not really a saturated, scenario.
yeah.
How does this co-op usually work? Is it like part-time, study and part-time work, and does it happen in all the?
There are different types, and it also varies from company to company and type of jobs. There are some that are full-time and happen, through an entire semester, and you relocate or do it virtually, whatever the case may be. And another is part-time, where I think 20 hours or 25 hours per week you invest into doing your internship virtually, and the rest of the time you study and enroll into courses on campus.
Okay, I guess this requires some kind of permission from the university also then.
Yeah, and this will be counted against your CPT.
Okay.
So when you're doing CPT, one thing that you have to keep in mind is you cannot go about 12 months of CPT, and this is, I'm talking cumulative, because if like that's 365 day, you're good till 364th day. But if you take more than that, you get ineligible for your OPT. So just make sure that you keep that in mind while applying for CPTs. Yeah.
Okay.
Bhanu, I
So,
guess we can take one more question and then.
Yeah. So, how will the H-1B be affected post this? Does it matter when you graduate, when you apply for H-1B?
I don't think it matters, but if you have a choice to graduate, I would say probably graduate in fall, or basically after your spring semester, because then it gives you more time to look for jobs. Suppose you graduate in May, the way Vedant has, you can look for jobs for the whole year, and your H1 would be applied the next year. While if you graduate in December, that's like the two major times when people do graduate, then you only have 3 months to find a company H1. But since if you're coming on STEM, H1 should not be that huge a problem, because regardless of H1, you can still work on uh, F1 for 36 months. And as of now, I think H1 has been suspended. Processing for H1 has been suspended till 23rd of December. So only time can tell what would come out of of that.
Okay.
Well, that was one comprehensive list of questions that we discussed today. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope this podcast has been helpful to answer some questions that might have crossed your mind. If you have any more questions, please ask them in the comment section. Stay tuned for more content and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay home and stay safe. See you.